Hey everyone, welcome back to Hearthstone. Welcome to another Boomsday Project deck video. This is one I made myself. It is a very fun Burgle Rogue, mostly all around using the new card Academic Espionage, and then combining that with Tess Greymane. It is very similar to the deck I showed off in the Witchwood expansion. Basically just dropped a few cards and put in not many new cards, literally just 2 Academic Espionages and 2 Augmented Eliks. Those are pretty much the key cards. The Elik, if you play this and then play the Espionage, you'll shuffle 20 cards into your deck, which is insane. Or you have the Elik and Valdori Strider, which will shuffle 6 ambushes into your deck, which is great. So this is just a very good card in here. Not sure if you need 2. I had 2 on hand, so I put them in. You could probably get away with just 1. This deck probably still needs a bit of tweaking. Still not sure if I've got like the right amount of preps, the right amount of shadow steps or backstabs, if I just got 1 of those so far. I did a little write-up of this deck and posted it on Hearthstone, so there'll be a link to that in the description if you want to check it out. Maybe give it a little thumbs up, that'd be pretty sweet. But anyway, let's check a game out with this deck. Okay, so we're facing a rogue here, which is pretty bad news for the Tess aspect of the deck. Tess just will not work because we're only going to be copying rogue cards. But luckily Academic Espionage might be able to swing the game in our favor anyway. You're still getting 10 rogue cards that cost 1 shuffled into your deck. Maybe 20 if we pull off the Elik. So we could still do okay. We just have to forget about Tess pretty much.
Hail, friend.
But this is a phenomenal opening hand. We can go turn 3 Elik, and then turn 4 Strider or Academic Espionage.
Justice is mine.
The nice thing about the Elik is, even if you don't have the other cards in your hand, you play that on turn 3, people are going to assume you've got something coming turn 4, so they'll usually use a lot of removal to get rid of it. So maybe it is worth having 2 in there. I like having 2 of them. You know, use the first one as kind of bait out some big removal, then use the second one turn 7 and up to play them and the Strider or Espionage in the same turn. So if you take a look over on the left at our opponent's deck recipe, you can see they've all got all these cards have got a little gift next to them. That means he is actually playing a Whizbang deck. Whizbang the Wonderful, he uses one of 18 random deck recipes. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I've actually run into a few Whizbang decks, and that's how you can tell that they're using a Whizbang deck. This is using the Hearthstone Deck Tracker program, which is fantastic. So there we go, turn 3, the Dream. The Augmented Elik is down. Rogue has a lot of removal, they could sap it back, they could backstab and trade in the little boys, they could eviscerate it. So that could be an eviscerate coming down. Luckily it's just Academic Espionage, which is still a pretty threatening card, but the Elik survives, which means we get our choice. Do we go for... we go for 6 spiders. So then go those first 3, and then bam, there's another 3 in there. So we're currently sitting at 29 cards, our opponent has 32. If this Elik can survive 1 more turn, we can get another 20 cards in our deck. Which is just great. What weapon do they have in there? Since the deck recipe has Hallucination and Academic Espionage, that's probably a Spectral Cutlass in his hand. Bam, the Elik survives. Like, this is just a dream game. Obviously most of them aren't going to go so well. This is also all in casual, because it's just a fun place to try out decks. I don't know why that happened with my deck tracker. Why it showed me which cards I got, because no other game that I've done that, I've played Espionage, has shown me the cards. Maybe it's showing me the 10 extra that went in from the Elik? Because how many pop up there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It doesn't really make sense. That's one of them. It's probably just gonna be a double Blink Fox turn here. Nice. But yeah, I really don't know why all those showed up in the tracker. And only half of the cards we shuffled in. Very strange. But yeah, you can see we've got 47 cards in our deck right now. There's also a Myra's Unstable Element in there, which we could just draw the whole thing if we wanted. It'd be terrible. So I definitely think this deck can still use a bit of tweaking. I'm not sure what exactly we'd tweak, because it's been working out fairly well for me so far. Like, it's even possible just to get rid of all the other Burgle cards, like Hallucination and Pickpocket, and just rely on the Academic Espionages. Because Tesh should be pretty decent. So let's get the Pogo Hopper down, then Shadow Step him back. And that'll make him a 3/3 when we play him. Obviously, Spectral Cutlass is going to be pretty much useless in this game, because we're not going to be playing any non-rogue cards. Pretty much. Nice. It's not a brilliant card to get from Espionage. Oof. It's a beefy Lillian now. Okay. There's an 8/5 to deal with. We can deal with it with what we've got on board. We can use our Razor Pedal. We can in fact Razor Pedal, Lasher, use the Razor Pedal and then Eviscerate. Just wanted to make sure that Spectral Cutlass only worked on like non-class cards instead of being just cards that didn't start in your deck. And we might as well coin out the Mist Wraith here. Just because it has a 3/5 for 1 mana. I mean, I love Academic Espionage. What a great card, but I think it is a little bit busted. I get the shuffling random cards in, but 10 random cards that cost 1 mana? That's pretty nuts. So yeah, I absolutely love that card. If you watched my pack opening video, you could probably tell that I really wanted that card. I still had to craft one of them, even after opening 156 packs. But I think it was worth it. Really, really fun card. That's what I'm all about nowadays. Okay, that is lethal. GG. Oh, there's a spider.
Well played.
We did also get a prep that got bumped up to 1 mana, which is funny. Nice, so Burgle Rogue versus Whizbang. Burgle Rogue comes out on top. Not bad. Let's take a look at another game. Yeah, we got a nice Shaman this game. Again, we actually get a brilliant opening hand there with Alec and the Strider. Just need an Academic Espionage soon as well. But the nice thing is, like, if you play the Alec turn 3, he dies. Turn 4, just playing the Strider on its own, or just playing the Espionage on its own, is still just a great play. Haven't quite figured out all the secrets of this board yet. So I think we'll just pass until turn 3. We don't really want to coin the Alec out on turn 2, because then we still have to wait another turn afterwards to get the Strider out. Okay, Hero Power and pass. Ooh, there's another Strider. So I did notice that the Wilfred Whizbang decks put you to the default hero portrait, not the skins if you have them. So kind of thinking this guy might be a Whizbang deck. The only way to tell is when they play their first card. But there we can see there's no little present icon on the card. So this is not a Whizbang deck. Feel pretty safe putting the Alec down. It's just a Mana-Tide Totem on the board. And even if it does die, we can still play the Strider next turn. The Strider is kind of what the Shadow Step's for. Shadow Step works very well on the Faldora Strider. Blink Fox works very well. Van Cleef works pretty decently if you want a, beefy Van Cleef. And Face Collector pretty much. And Elva Minstrel. And maybe even Tess. You play Tess down, she does all her stuff, and you just send her back so you can do it again next turn. Shit. So he silences the poor Elec. We are so close to being able to shuffle 6 of those Striders in. Or Academic Espionage. But we go for the Faldori Strider, just because it's a body on the board. That's what we need, really.
Justice is mine.
After that misplay, I literally like spun around in my desk and just like faced away from my computer with my head in my hands, just face palming so hard. You can see like the mouse isn't moving. I've just completely turned away from the PC at this point. I was so embarrassed. It's an appalling misplay. Can't believe it. Okay, we're back now. So bad. Holy shit. They could have already, all those cards could have already been in there. We could have been playing a Faldori Strider this turn as well, but nope. Very embarrassing. Very poor performance there. I was really hoping I'd just lose like right after so I could just delete this footage, but it was a decent game, so I had to keep it in. Can't just gloss over that horrible misplay. Whoa, Murmuring Elemental. But luckily this guy also does pretty big misplays. Like that. Right there. Right there. All he had to do is play the Rockpool Hunter first, then Murmuring Elemental, and then do the second Rockpool Hunter. So I was feeling, you know, a little bit better about my misplay at this point. Probably Faldori Strider, and then eviscerate the slightly bigger Murloc. Don't know what this guy's deck is, it's kind of all over the place. And I'd feel bad about playing against it and like including it in the video, but a test deck is just such a meme deck, and historically it's performed very, very poorly. So I was okay to just play around with it in casual. I still don't think it would do very good in ranked. I haven't taken any of these decks into ranked yet. But it might be worth having a go with them once I've played a few more games. So it's sort of Elemental Shaman, sort of Murloc Shaman? Don't super know. It's a weird, very weird deck. Which you can tell from them having Earthshock. I don't think most Shaman decks run Earthshock anymore. Okay, what's the play next turn? Probably Fan of Knives. And then trade the Strider in. It's looking pretty good. We could start drawing those 1 mana things from Academic Espionage. We could also play the Cutlass, or we could just play the Minstrel and try and draw more things. Which amazingly we don't. You know, there's 6 ambushes in there, 10 1 mana cards. And out of 3 draws, we just got stuff that was in our deck already. But now you can see the second Elec is coming in handy, because now all we have to do is draw our other Academic Espionage. We can play them both on the same turn to guarantee that we get that double effect. See, I quite like having 2 of them in, but it's definitely not necessary if you only wanted to craft 1. I probably wouldn't craft this deck, but it's very fun. Especially when you get some wacky Tesses. Get rid of that. Elven Minstrel. Hopefully draw. There we go. A Menacing Nimbus. So we'll hold on to that. And then probably play it after Spectral Cutlass. Because those work so well. Like 1 mana to increase the durability of your lifesteal weapon. Pretty good. So I think that's the Fire Elemental he's got there. Yeah, there it is. But it's a pretty decent sap. Made him waste most of his turn. But not all of it. That's a pretty weird play there. Okay, we can buff this weapon up pretty decently. Menacing Nimbus. And it does amazingly give us something with Overload. So we can also buff the Unbound Elemental there. And there's another Overload one. We don't want to play it because it would kill our windy, dusty fella.
Justice is mine.
Yeah, super easy to buff up the weapon to keep it going. I'd say you don't need 2, but a lot of decks do run like 1 weapon removal. Be like Harrison Jones or one of the oozes, but most don't run 2, so it's probably worth keeping both Spectral Cutlasses. And then if you're super desperate, you can just like kill off your first weapon and then equip the second one later. No, leave him alone. It's a strange hex, but I guess it could have got out of control with my, whatever it is, Beakered Lightning card. I think this deck would be crazy and wild with Cold Light Oracles, because you could just slam so many cards into your deck. This guy's deck is all over the place. But yeah, you could slam so many 1 mana cards in there, and then just keep drawing cards. You'd never get milled, but your opponent could get milled pretty quickly. Okay, here's finally an ambush. So that gets rid of a lot of the board. We're not totally in trouble yet. Arthas is pretty decent to get from there. And Nixia isn't brilliant. But yeah, he is piling on the damage. But I guess so are we. We've got 10 on board, he's got 9. Uh-oh. Don't like that. That's a lot of damage now. That could bring me down to 7 health. Yeah, but luckily he trades. I was wondering why this game took so long. It's because this guy ropes like almost every turn. So it's going to be a pretty lame test. But it does clear a lot of his board. And I think that was literally the only card I could play there that would keep me alive. So yeah. But I don't need to show off good Tesses in this. I already showed them in the Witchwood videos. But yeah, still could have been way better, but this keeps us alive. Okay, 6 health. Scary. A Murloc Raider, even scarier. So he's just flooding that board. Not much we can do. We'd probably have to trade things here. Oh jeez. And another one, okay. What can we do? We can probably Hallucination to get Dust Devil, which will buff up our Unbound Elemental, which means it'll be able to take out one of those War Leaders. So we trade like that. And get rid of the other one. Probably trade Tess into the Fire Elemental. And then kill the Primal Fin with our weapon. And we'll also get some totems. We can just hope for a Taunt Totem or the Searing Totem. Okay, so that puts us on 5 health. And he's got 2 damage on board and 3 cards in hand. So it's not ideal. But I mean, then if we survive, like we're at 15 damage right now on board. Oh, there goes like 6 of it. Another Searing Totem. Really looking for the taunts. Okay, no totem from that one. And Healing Rain. But it looks like we might get out of this. Because he's now got 1 card in hand. Ropes again. This is why this game took so long. Arthas works pretty well. We can heal ourselves for 2 and then just put everything else into his face. Keep hold of the Elec, obviously just for the Academic Espionage. We don't really need the 3-4 on board right now. Okay, there's a Grimscale Oracle. And that's it. Okay, things are pretty much turning around. You can see from the deck tracker we got a Hot Spring Guardian, which heals us for another 3. Lightning Storm away his board. Also give us 1 more durability on the weapon. Bam. Looks like we might make it out of this. Another Mana Tide, he needs to draw. He doesn't want to play the other card in his hand, which is good for us. We are 1 damage off lethal here. Lure the Hollow does not do it. Nothing does it. I think I was hoping to pull the other Academic Espionage, so I was just trying to make the game last a little bit longer. That's why I cleared off his board. But I think this is pretty much done now. Serenite Chain Gang is... it'll hold us off a little bit. It's not enough to stop us from having lethal. Got another taunt. And then Flame Tongue, no wonder who's holding on to that card. Okay, I think we can clear that no problem. Beakered Lightning got raised up to 1 mana. Yeah, we can deal with this. There we go. Sweet. Yeah, he was playing a really not great deck, obviously. But hey, a win's a win with a Tess meme deck. But that was a look at my new updated Tess Burgle Rogue, using not many new cards from the Boomsday Project, but very fun and more reliable with the inclusion of Academic Espionage. Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!